You're at the counter. There's a bag of popcorn sitting in front of you. And a number next to it that is frankly none of your business. $9. 12. Whatever the figure is where you live. For corn. Corn that cost them well under 50 cents. You know it's absurd. Everybody standing in that line knows. And every single one of them buys it anyway, including you. The standard explanation is that they've simply got you trapped. You can't bring your own. There's nowhere else to go, so they gouge you. Which is true, and which explains almost nothing at all. Here's the part nobody tells you. That popcorn isn't a snack that got expensive. It's the second half of the ticket price. It always was. Go back to the 1920s and try to buy popcorn at the movies. You can't. It's banned. Not discouraged. Banned. And the reason is snobbery, which is at least an honest reason. The early cinemas were trying very hard to be theaters. Carpets, rugs, upholstered seats, a certain kind of evening out. And popcorn was street food. Loud, greasy, undignified street food. It came out of a cart, and carts belonged on the sidewalk. So the cinemas kept it out, and the vendors did the obvious thing. They bought their own machines and set up right outside the doors, directly in front of the line, selling to your customers. And the cinemas hit back by banning outside food, which, if you think about it, is a deeply familiar move. Except they weren't protecting a revenue stream. They didn't have one. They were protecting the carpet. Then it's October 1929, and the money stops. The Depression does something very interesting to a principle. It doesn't argue with it. It just waits. Cinemas start closing. The survivors need anything they can get. And there's a guy outside with a popping machine, doing fine. So they make him an offer, and it's a beautifully careful one. They do not start selling popcorn. That would be admitting something. They rent him a corner of the lobby for a daily fee. It was called lobby privileges, and that is a magnificent phrase. The cinema isn't in the popcorn business. It's a landlord. Carpet intact. Dignity intact. Rent arriving every single day. And then they spend a few months watching what he takes in. And the principal quietly stops being a principal. There's one story from this period that says the whole thing. A chain in Texas puts popcorn machines into 80 of its theaters. 80. But not all of them. It leaves 5 out. Specifically, its 5 best ones. The flagships. The nice ones. Far too classy for corn. So now there's an experiment running, and nobody meant to start it. Same chain, same country, same years, one difference. 2 years later, the 80 are making money hand over fist. And the 5 best theaters in the entire company are in the red. Losing money. The good ones, the ones with the carpet. That is the moment the argument ends. Permanently. Then the war turns up and helps, the way wars do. Sugar gets rationed, so candy and soda mostly disappear from the counter. Corn needs no sugar. Popcorn is left standing there alone. Now come forward to today and just follow the money. You buy a ticket, let's call it $15. That money does not belong to the cinema. Not most of it. It gets split with the studio, and the split is negotiated per film. Opening weekend, the studio's share is the big one. It shrinks as the weeks go by and the film gets older. The exact terms are private, so be careful with any percentage you read. But the direction isn't in dispute. Early on, the studio takes most of it. Now the popcorn. Who gets the popcorn money? The cinema. All of it. Every cent. The studio has no claim on that counter whatsoever. So look at what those two facts do when you put them together. Concessions are about 1/5 of what a cinema takes in, and roughly 40% of what it actually gets to keep. 1/5 of the money. Nearly half of the profit. That explains the margin. It does not explain the price. Why $9? Why not $4? And sell twice as much? In 2009, two researchers went and worked it out properly. Ricard, Gill, and Wesley Hartmann, using data from a Spanish cinema chain, real revenue records. Weeks with a huge film, weeks with nothing. And they found something simple and faintly unnerving. The people who most wanted to be there bought the most popcorn. The two things move together: enthusiasm and snacks. Which means the counter isn't really a counter at all. It's a meter. It measures how much you want it to come. A ticket has one price for everyone: the fan and the dragged-along boyfriend. The cinema would love to charge the fan more, but there's one price on the board. So it puts a second price somewhere else and lets you pick it up yourself. The fan buys the large, the boyfriend buys nothing. And the cinema has just charged two different prices for one film. Economists call that metering, and the theory is decades old. That paper is the one that caught it actually happening. Now the uncomfortable part, because this cuts the other way. If the counter is paying for the ticket, what happens when you fix the counter? Say popcorn has to be sold near cost tomorrow. Call it $4. That's a huge share of the profit gone out of the building overnight. It has to come back from somewhere, and there is only one somewhere. The ticket goes up for everybody, including everyone who never goes near that counter, which is, broadly, the people with the least money to spend. Expensive popcorn is what keeps the door cheap. That's not a defense a cinema ever makes out loud because it sounds insane. But it's what the numbers say, and one of the researchers said it plainly. If you want more people in the room, you keep the ticket low. So the one being subsidized is the guy walking straight past the popcorn. And the one paying for it is the guy who really wanted to be there. That's the fine print. And it is not on the menu board. You aren't buying a snack. You're answering a question at a counter before the film has even started. How much did you want this? And $9 later, you've told them.